So this week we'll be jumping into Rodentia. Because Rodentia is so large, we're going to break it up into 2 weeks based on suborders. So the first 2 weeks we'll look at suborders Hystricomorpha and Sciuromorpha. And in week 2, which will be next week, we'll look at Castoriomorpha and Myomorpha. It's important to note that another suborder is Anomulleromorpha. However, we don't have any representative specimen. Throughout this, I'll be going over the skins and the skulls, and we'll be talking about 2 important characteristics for diagnosing these clades, which are the jaw morphology and the zygomastoteric condition. Starting in suborder Hystricomorpha, we have 2 specimens, the first being in family Erythozontidae, which is our New World porcupines. So this specimen we have here is Erythozone dorsatum. So it's our porcupine. The next specimen that we have in Hystricomorpha, or suborder Hystricomorpha, is our Myocastor coipu, or our nutria, that is in family Myocastoridae. So this is an up close. The next suborder that we'll be looking at is Sciuromorpha. So this is the first family in Sciuromorpha that we have, which is Aplodontidae. So this is our Aplodontia, or our mountain beaver. And I'll give you a close-up of the skull. However, we'll go over the difference between the skulls in a second. The next family that we have in Sciuromorpha, suborder Sciuromorpha, is Sciuridae. This is our squirrels, marmots, and chipmunks. So I will show you the skins for the specimen in order, or corresponding to the list that Jack gave you. So starting off, we have Calospermophilus lateralis, and this is our golden mantled ground squirrel. The next specimen that we have is Ictodomes. Don't worry about knowing the species name. This is the 13-lined ground squirrel. The next genus that we have in family Sciuridae is Urocytellus. So we have quite a bit of specimen, but I will list the species name and also tell you them. So in order, our first one is Urocytellus armatus, or the Unida ground squirrel. The second is Urocytellus beldingi, or the Belding's ground squirrel. Our third one is our Idaho ground squirrel, or Urocytellus bruneus. The fourth is the Colombian ground squirrel, or Urocytellus colombianus. Fifth is Urocytellus elegans, which is the Wyoming, which also has the lightest coloration. And the last specimen that we have in genus Urocytellus is Urocytellus mollis, or the Paiute ground squirrel, which is also the smallest that you can see. So I'll give you a close-up of each of these specimens. The next genus is Amospermophilus. This is the white-tailed antelope ground squirrel. We only have one specimen in this genus, so don't worry about knowing the species epithet. These are our marmots, so genus Marmota. And we have Marmota flavenstris as our first one, the one on the left. And that is the yellow-bellied marmot. And then the next marmot that we have is the hoary marmot, specimen on the right. And its genus species name is Marmota caligata. The next genus that we have is Cynomes. These are our prairie dogs. We only have one specimen in this, so don't worry about the species epithet. These are a Tamias specimen or chipmunks. In order from left to right, we have Tamias ammonius, which is our yellow pine chipmunk. We have Tamias dorsalis, which is our cliff chipmunk. Tamias minimus, which is our least chipmunk. Tamias ruficatus, which is our red-tailed chipmunk. Tamias striatus, which is the eastern chipmunk, not found here. And our last one is Tamias umbrinus, which is our Unida chipmunk. I'll give you close-ups to these. Tamias ammonius, Tamias dorsalis, so it lacks those stripes. Tamias minimus, this is one of our smallest chipmunks. Tamias ruficatus, or the red-tailed chipmunk, so if you flip it over you can see that nice coloration. Tamias striatus, this is the largest chipmunk that we have, and also not found here. Also note the difference in stripes as well. And our last one, Tamias umbrinus. One of the smaller ones, but not smaller than Tamias minimus. The next genus that we have is Tamias sciurus hudsonius, which is the species epithet. This is our red squirrel. The next genus that we have is Sciurus. So we have Sciurus niger. This is our eastern fox squirrel. We have Sciurus carolinensis. This is our eastern gray squirrel. And then we have Sciurus albertii, or the tasseled eared squirrel. Note the ears. And our last specimen is Glaucomes sabrinensis, or our northern flying squirrel. I'll try to flip him over so you can see that he has a membrane that connects, meant for gliding. These are the skulls for suborder Hystricomorpha. So if I come down to this position, note the hystricomorphous zygomastoteric condition. And then giving you a close-up of the jaws. This one's a little tilted. Note that they both have the hystricognathous jaw morphology. This is the jaw for Aplodontia. So in Aplodontia, it has the protogomorphous condition, zygomastoteric condition. So note the small infraorbital canals. This is another zygomastoteric condition that defines the 5 major groups. And when we look at, the jaw, it has a cyuronathus jaw condition, jaw morphology, This is a Urocytellus skull. So note where the infraorbital canal is, has a tubercle, so a little bone that juts out. And then note that the infraorbital canal is small and canal-like. So distinguishing between these skulls are going to be hard, and I'm going to try to point out the things to look at, and most of the things I will be pointing out are what the infraorbital canals look like. So take a second to remember where that is and what that is. This is the skull for Amospermophilus. Note that the infraorbital canal is also small and canal-like. However, Urocytellus has a deeper infraorbital canal in comparison to Amospermophilus. These are the Marmota skulls. Note the cyuromorphous condition. And then we'll give you a close. This is our Tamius skull. Note the infraorbital canal is much larger than the Urocytellus and Amospermophilus skulls. This is the Tamius cyurus skull. So note that the infraorbital canal is very low. It kind of has a teardrop or oval shape to it and is pretty small. So low, teardrop, infraorbital canal. And this is our cyurus skull. So note the, again, low but slightly larger infraorbital canal. And when I say slightly larger, I meant in comparison to the Tamius skull, Tamius cyurus skull that we just saw. This is the last skull that we have. This is our Glaucomes skull. Note the low infraorbital canal.